What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Woodward Bets in the house here on a Thanksgiving Eve. So early happy Thanksgiving from all of us to you and your families out there. As you can see, three-man booth. We got a holiday here, so we had to bring in some reinforcements. So Scott is here as always. Detroit Beastie back in the house. A rare three-man show for us, but want to make sure you guys are covered with all the information on today's show. We'll mainly talk some NBA, big slate of games tonight, find some DFS plays we like, and some bets. And then we'll also talk about some Thanksgiving football as well. Make sure you guys are all set on that. So let me go over to Scott here. Scott, best bets for last night. How did we do? And how are you, buddy? Looking forward to Thanksgiving here. So we'll get into some Thanksgiving talk, but how are we doing on this fine Wednesday evening?
Man, Chris, I can't get a hold of this weather we're having around here. Look at my sign back there. It's just been one of them things. It's like it's warm, it's cold. It was really nice today. So I actually kind of started to think about putting up some Christmas lights. I know, it's sad to say, but it is pretty much that time. But Chris, I got to mention here, look at this shirt I got. Look at this bad boy right here.
Wow. You want to talk about a relic. I mean, that thing, wow. 91. You still fit in it too? That's impressive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all got a little of that going on.
But
91.
I mean, the shirt. 1991. I mean, it's like 30 years old. I mean, damn. Yeah, I still have it. So maybe that's why they haven't won 1 cent, because I still have this shirt. Maybe it's me in this shirt, Chris. That's the jinx. What do you guys think?
So maybe when you're out kicking these field goals, I'm still waiting on that video footage. You can bring this shirt, and you mentioned the cold weather. You'd start a little bonfire, and maybe you are the reason that they're so terrible and haven't won a game or a division title since 1991. So maybe it's time for some change. Let's bring in Beastie. Any thoughts on this 1991 T-shirt here, and how you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Well, yes and no. In 91, I was telling you, I was 6 years old. I was in first grade. I mean, I was a young, impressionable boy. And if I knew then what I know now, I don't think much would change. I'd still be a Lions fan. We'd still be, looking to celebrate Thanksgiving here. But 91 is wild. I have some old stuff, but it doesn't go back quite that far. I think the oldest shirt I have is like a Wings Stanley Cup hat from 97 here. And that's not, I mean, I guess it's old now, but 91 that's a ways back, boys.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Scott was 30 back then, so
I was a year out of high school. I graduated high school the year before, so I was a wide-eyed young spring chicken running around the town. So yeah, I don't know how this shirt survived, though, to be honest with you. I really don't. I think I found it in one of my tubs when I was digging through some old stuff, and I was like, damn, look at this thing here. I don't know what I was thinking. I must have known something back then. Like, man, I must have had a feeling like this is here a collector's item.
So what were you looking for in the tubs? Because it damn sure wasn't a 1991 Detroit Lions T-shirt. What was the item we're looking for here?
Man, when I started seeing how much all these sports collectibles were worth, Chris, in the recent times here during COVID, I mean, baseball cards went through the roof. I mean, and I collected all that stuff when I was a kid. So I was thinking, man, I got these Jordan rookies. I got Jerry Rice, Joe Montana. I got all that stuff, I'm pretty sure. So, I Wayne Gretzky's and Lemieux's, Yzerman's. I went through all my tubs to try to dig them all out. If you would have saw my basement, Chris, it looked like a wave of baseball cards went rolling through. So yeah, for about a month I dug through about every tub I had, the ones that were at my parents, up in their attic, everything else. So I spent some time digging through, had some fun, reminded me some childhood stuff, and hey, always fun to dig back through stuff like that.
Absolutely. I was a big card collector as well. COVID, there wasn't much else to do, so started getting into it a little bit more, buying some of the newer stuff, looking back at some of the older stuff. I did not find a 1991 T-shirt in my bins, but a lot of good memories. So, Beastie, were you a card collector? Or did you get into that as a kid? Where do you come? Where are you? Any involvement in the card game back in the day?
Oh, big time. My late father was a card collector till the day he died. So when he passed away, I inherited a lifelong collection of sports cards, and I'm still finding stuff. Again, like you said, in the day and age of COVID now, I found old comic books, like the number one overall, I believe it was Iron Man, the 1 through 10, the original copies. And come to find out, and I'm not kidding, I can send photos here, not smoke and mirrors. He collected Wayne Gretzky rookie cards. I have about 12 or 13 different Gretzky rookie cards,
Oh, wow.
because back then it was only perfect if it was centered correctly. So some of them are off, and I guess that was the joy of collecting here. So I found a ton of stuff. I got stacks of comic books and tons of cards. So I go through that stuff often. Plus, I'm still finding new stuff. So even though my father is gone, I was an only child, so we were close and we were tight. It's like it's still fun to go through that stuff. It's like Dad is there, Dad's watching, and he knew what he was doing. I have stacks and stacks and bins. Never found an old t-shirt, just Iron Man #1 and about 15 Gretzky rookie cards.
I mean, I'll take that haul over Scott's shirt. That's for sure.
I'll tell you guys one thing though. I mean, here in Detroit, we got some serious rookies rolling through here. I mean, I'm going to want to make sure I got me some Cade Cunningham rookie cards, some Mo Sedler rookie cards, some Lucas Raymond rookie cards. We got Spencer Torkelson. I already have a couple of his rookies, some Riley Greens. So it's like, man, we got some guys coming up here through the ranks that, I mean, I think Cade Cunningham's rookie card could hit the roof, pretty quick. If he wins that rookie year, we predicted him to win yesterday. So we'll have to see on that. And I do have a few shares of that after we talked yesterday on our show, Chris. I went for it. I bet a little bit of money there on Cade at plus 270. If you go over to DK, it's only plus 225. So FanDuel was 45 cents better, actually, which that's a significant amount.
Yeah, we talk about hitting the markets early. It's not just on the weekly football games we always talk about. It's same like that. The odds are likely going to shrink before they get any larger. So glad you got in on that, Cade Cunningham. Hopefully some of the listeners out there got in on it as well. So before we get into the show, as always, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Woodward Bets. Follow the network at Woodward Sports and tune in. Lots of great shows going on all throughout the day and all throughout the weekend. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us here for the show and following us over on Twitter at Woodward Bets. So, guys, let's talk a little Thanksgiving. What's the plans for tomorrow? What's on the dinner table? Are you traveling? People coming to your house? Scott, I know you kind of have an interesting Thanksgiving going on this year. So we'll get started with you. What's the plans for Turkey Day tomorrow?
Well, actually, I decided that the girlfriend and I are actually going to go over to the casino, the Firekeepers, and spend the day out there, enjoy the football games, have some beers, relax. Don't have to worry about cooking. We're going to go through the restaurants over there. Had, when you play a little bit here and there, Chris, we had to spend a couple weekends out there last year because the bowling state tournament was out there. So I spent 4 or 5 nights in the Firekeepers, and they keep wanting me to come back for some reason. So they keep offering me free rooms, free food, free plays, all kinds of stuff. So I thought, that'd probably be a good time. We got football on from noon till 8:20 and can hang out and just have some fun. So we got some of the families got some COVID issues and, other things going on. So I think it's best that we all kind of lay low. And that's what I figured I'd go do and have some fun.
All right, man. Sounds like a hell of a day to me. Casino, football, and I'm sure you'll mix some turkey and stuff in there as well. So enjoy. Beastie, what do we got on the docket for Thanksgiving on your end?
Oh, I'm laying low. I'll get out of bed. I mean, if you want a moment-by-moment kind of rundown of what I'm doing tomorrow, we can just fast forward to 12:30 when I wake up. Not married, no kids, just me and my cat, whose name is Beastie, hence my Twitter name here. So I'm able to do anything that I want tomorrow. And what I did already, Scott and I were talking about it, prior to the broadcast here. My mom has been cooking Thanksgiving dinner since she was probably 10 years old. So she's been cooking from sun up to sundown on Thanksgiving Thanksgiving for probably 45 years. So I surprised her today. I bought a full dinner at the local Italian deli. So we're ready to go. It wasn't cheap, but what's money, compared to our time and our loved ones here. So me and my mother and my two uncles, they're going to come over to the condo, and we're just going to hang out. So maybe put a fire in the fireplace and watch football from 12:30 to probably what, boys, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So I will probably not put on jeans. It'll be sweatpants, a sweatshirt, and that's about it. So I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow. No phone, no computer, just in peace, disconnected, and just hanging out, enjoying my family.
Love it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Family, friends, enjoying that time. So sounds like a good day. Me personally, we kind of rotate it. A lot of years we host Thanksgiving here, which turns into 40, 50 people at our house, and you're a week in advance. You're planning and getting this, getting that. The wife is going nuts with just trying to make sure everything's perfect. Well, this year we're going somewhere else. So it's not our turn this year. So get up, get over there, hang out with family, watch football. Start falling asleep from all the turkey and all the trimmings, and then try to survive the late game. I'm getting older, not quite as old as Scott, but it can be tough. That game going on till 10:30, 11 at night, and I'm dozing in and out. But we got a hell of a card of games outside of the Lions Bears. And let me ask you guys this. I find this intriguing. Beastie, I'm going to stay with you here. Is it time to get rid of this tradition of the Detroit Lions playing every Thanksgiving Day? And I guess you could lump Dallas in on this as well. And you can look at it from a Detroit fan. You can look at it from whatever perspective you want. But is it time maybe we hit reset on this tradition and give some other teams some opportunities? I don't know about you guys. I don't really enjoy starting my Thanksgiving Day of football with the Lions and the Bears. Like the NFL, we can do better. So is it the tradition should ride? Should we reset? What are your thoughts on that real quick?
Absolutely not. I mean, as Detroit Lions fans, at least me personally, this is all I have for as a Lions fan. They don't compete in the North. They sure as hell don't play in the playoffs. So a Super Bowl run is out of the question. So to me, tomorrow, Thanksgiving, when the Lions play, that is my playoff game. That is my NFC North championship game. So all those folks that talk down, I mean, it is what it is. But for me personally, growing up, born and raised here in Detroit, absolutely not. No way we should get rid of it. Maybe it's selfish of me, but again, you asked me, and I firmly believe that there's no way we should get rid of the Detroit Lions football game on Thanksgiving. Bright and early, well, not so early, but 12:20, 12:30 kickoff. Heck no. We have some sort of action at halftime, normally a local Detroit act or something. Big Sean is there tomorrow. I remember as a boy, Aretha Franklin played there once, Anita Baker. I mean, I'm digging deep at some R&B cuts here, but to me, Thanksgiving has everything to do with the Detroit Lions, tailgating, going to the game, whatever it is. So I'm going to be firm, Chris, and tell you, no, we should keep the Detroit Lions tradition, whether they're good or bad. Obviously, it's been more bad than good, but I'm riding it out here. I love the Lions on Thanksgiving.
All right. Hey, I love it. Now, I think you're going to get a guy on the other end of this argument here is the reason I brought it up. Scott, your thoughts. Should tradition ride out here? Should we hit that reset button, give some other teams an opportunity to host Thanksgiving games? What's your thoughts here, old man?
I should think Detroit and Dallas should play each other and then have four other teams that are decent to play. But the thing is so I was a season ticket holder a long time with the Lions up until Barry Sanders retired, and I gave him away and said, that's about what time DirecTV came out and we could sit home and watch all the games. So I had much more fun doing that. And then, but for me, so when I was a season ticket holder, man, we'd rent a Ryder truck, put a picnic table in the back of that thing. We would be, deep frying turkeys in the parking lot of the game, and bringing food, and those are some pretty cool memories, as fans. So, I think the Lions fans do deserve something. I mean, we don't like Beastie said, we don't get any playoffs. I mean, how many times do we really even get a Monday night game? We don't even get that because we stink. I mean, we're not getting flexed in any Sunday night games. That's for damn sure either. So, I mean, yeah, like Beastie said, this is our time to shine. You know what? Maybe we get our first win. We've seen some pretty comical things happen during these games. That coin flip thing with Bettis. We've seen all kinds of things kind of happen on Thanksgiving. It's something for us to kind of enjoy as Lions fans. I mean, that's why they put us out of the gate first game. And we're always the first game because we suck. I mean, think about it. That game starts at 9:30 in California. So, not too many people are probably up and about that day. So I can imagine that one's going to get the worst of the ratings. But for us Lions fans, I mean, it's cool. I mean, the memories for me are fun, going out and partying, freezing your ass off some years, having a good time, tailgating. That's what it's all about.
All right. Hey, tradition rules. I like it. That's why I wanted to see where you guys were at on that. So, Scott, it's Wednesday. It's usually our KMA segment. So, anybody that you want to call out here this week, Beastie, we'll see if you got anybody. But and if you guys are listening out there and you want to sound off, let us be your sounding board. Send it to us at Woodward Bets on Twitter, and we'll call some people out here. But I'm going to call out LeBron and this whole incident with Isaiah Stewart. And I didn't mean it. It was an accident. Scott, we talked about it. I know you guys talked about it on the Monday show as well. When you close fist and you turn back and you whack somebody in the face hard enough to bust them up and make them bleed, tough to portray that as an accident. So, Scott, I know you're not a big LeBron fan. I don't have as much hatred towards the guy as you do. I think he's a hell of a basketball player, but does do some of this stuff on the court that can label him a dirty player. So I'm calling out LeBron. That was no accident, and kind of wish old Beef Stewart would have got a piece of LeBron there. But LeBron can KMA here for me this week. So, Scott, what do we got? Any KMAs you want to sound off on?
I double down on that KMA for LeBron. He definitely can KMA. And the other one I got is, listen, man, this is a big game here in Michigan. Don't be selling your damn Michigan tickets to anybody with a red shirt on. Please keep your tickets. Go find somebody in a blue shirt to sell your tickets. Don't be giving them to somebody, make sure you're selling them to somebody. We don't need a whole section of these dudes from Ohio yelling and screaming in our stadium and so forth. We need to have as many blue fans in there wrecking havoc when it's third down so we can get a decent pass rush here this weekend, but I think that's going to be key. So, yeah, anybody who's selling their tickets out there to a Buckeye, you can KMA.
I like it. There, you will see a lot of red in that stadium. I mean, 100-some thousand people. There's definitely going to be some Buckeye fans. But Beastie, anyone you want to call out here? Any KMAs? Anything on your mind you want to sound off here?
Absolutely. And I know, calling someone out is always portrayed in a negative light. And, everybody had something bad to say, LeBron and Ohio State fans. But personally speaking, I want to tie a bow on a positive situation here. Last Saturday night, I watched Hockey Night in Canada. First time in a long time. My late father and I used to watch that all the time. And they had just segment after segment that this month was a stand-up. The NHL stands up to cancer. And they're running clips of past, hockey players that have passed from cancer, or people that are currently battling it, like Dick Vitale. And I'm not kidding. As a grown man, 37 years old, we've all met in person. I'm big in stature, not as tall as you, Bear, but again, I got a little teary-eyed during the segment because my father passed from cancer. So I had no idea. I watch the NHL almost every night, and I had no idea that on Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, that they were doing this segment here. So I thought it was very kind, very nice, and they were just shining light on the thing. We always say, in the NFL or even, I think baseball, F cancer, like that's the trail here that they leave. But to me, hockey, they did it right. Stand up to cancer. I want to, shout out anybody that is going through that or has gone through that. I mean, I wish you the best. It's a tough situation. And so I applaud the NHL for bringing that to light and making me, teary-eyed and making me sentimental and look back at my father in a positive manner, right? I know it's, cancer is doom and gloom here, but it can be positive if thought upon correctly. So the NHL, thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I love it as well. I lost both my parents to cancer, so it's stuff like that, hits home, and it's good to see people still out there researching and trying to find a cure for this. And it's a terrible disease, and I know it's affected a lot of people out there and their families. So I'm with you. I'm glad to see some people doing good stuff out there, and I like the positive KMAs, bringing some light to that. So again, if you want to sound off on anything good, bad, or ugly, reach out to us on Twitter at Woodward Bets, and we'll cover it for you. We'll be your sounding board. So, boys, let's talk some NBA tonight. We got a huge slate of games, 13 games on the NBA docket here tonight. So I'll knock out a few injuries. We'll talk some DFS, and we'll always end the show with our best bets. So Some injuries, quite a few here tonight, so bear with me. No Joel Embiid for Philadelphia. I think that's the big name. No Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for Oklahoma City. Another mainstay going to be out tonight. No Cole Anthony for Orlando. So those are the big ones as far as outs. We got a lot of questionables. Guys like Jaylen Brown. Sounds like he may be back. Tobias Harris with Philadelphia. LeBron, Anthony Davis. Those guys are always questionable. Kevin Porter Jr. questionable. Sounds like he's going to play. Darius Garland for Cleveland also listed as questionable. So, guys, tons and tons of injuries, tons and tons of news here. Let's narrow things down here in DFS. So, Scott, we'll start with you. Who are some of your Wednesday night building blocks? A lot of games, a lot of choices. Who are you clicking for those DFS lineups here tonight?
Yeah, just kind of look around. LaMelo Ball is a guy that I'll be looking at. But, we look at the Pistons, they're going to be down a few guys. So I got a guy like Corey Joseph's going to be getting quite a bit of minutes. I don't mind him. And, even our Cade, our Rookie of the Year guy. But like you mentioned, with Embiid being out, that's going to leave Tobias Harris getting quite a bit of usage. So I do like some Tobias Harris. And then some, maybe even some Andre Drummond if you can fit him in. He's just hard to click on sometimes, but even at that other center position, I like some of these Orlando Magic guys, Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, not a bad play, and maybe even some Chris LeVert tonight for the Pacers. Kind of looks pretty decent as well.
Beastie, any NBA thoughts here for you tonight? I'll throw some guys out there. A lot of the guys Scott likes. I'm on the same Orlando. I think there's some good names there. With Bamba, with Wendell Carter. You mentioned Detroit missing some guys. So, Beastie, thoughts here on DFS here for tonight in the NBA?
Yeah, a few things, nothing crazy. If you look at, I love a stack of the Golden State Warriors this evening. When you look at Otto Porter, DVP again, Philly is 7th overall against opposing shooting forwards and point guards here, and I'll stack that with Andrew Wiggins, same thing, shooting forward. Porter, you could probably put in your power forward spot if you want to, and I love DeAndre Ayton this evening too. Phoenix goes to Cleveland. We know how Phoenix is run and gun. I don't know as of late, but DeAndre Ayton, I believe on FanDuel, $7,700, which is kind of like middle tier here when you look at a guy like Embiid, who is so much, but he's not playing this evening here. Or even if you want some salary relief, to me, I'm looking at Derek White, point guard for the San Antonio Spurs at home against the Atlanta Hawks here. Atlanta, they're 29th overall in defending point guards, and I would imagine when you look down the list in terms of the Hawks here, they're going to have trouble all over the court with the San Antonio Spurs this evening. So that's the way my mind is kind of going. Go all in on San Antonio Spurs and sprinkle in a little Golden State Warriors, guys.
Yeah, I like it. Some other names outside of some of the names that you guys have brought up here, like Karis LeVert, questionable. Josh Giddey gets a nice bump for Oklahoma City. Out Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, somebody's got to provide some offense there. So I like some secondary pieces there. With the Thunder, Sabonis, it's always a guy that kind of goes overlooked as well. Indiana guys for me there, along with those Orlando guys. And I agree with him. He's a phenomenal option here tonight for these Charlotte Hornets. So, Scott, where do we want to go next? Do we want to talk some Thanksgiving football here? We'll get to best bets at the end of the show. So let's break down some football here. So we'll start with the Lions Bears, Scott. So the game to the Lions to get their first W here this week against Chicago.
Yeah, like we mentioned yesterday, I think it's a good spot for the Lions to get their first W, just because I think Mike Nagy is going to get fired on the way home here. So I think the Bears want him gone. I think this is an opportunity. They know they come in here in Detroit, short week, they're going to get beat. I mean, obviously without Fields, they don't have Mack. They're beat up. So I think this is a pretty good chance here for Lions to get one, either this or Atlanta. We got to make one, if not both of them, work here to get the W's. But this game's going to be interesting. I think you're going to get a lot of Swift. Sounds like Goff is going to start. Not really a fan of too many of the Lions receivers, maybe not even Hawkinson. I think Waller is going to be in a good spot. You got Schultz in a good spot. So I don't think you're going to get too much of Hawkinson. But I think here, as far as the Bears go, I think Mooney is a pretty sneaky play that you can use. Montgomery, is another guy who actually just smashed the Lions last time they were in Chicago. But yeah, I think this game is not going to be as high owned in DFS wise. But I think in this game here tomorrow, I'm actually going to probably bet on the Lions in the first half on the money line is something that I really like here in this game. But yeah, should be interesting. I think the Lions are in a good spot here to get a W.
Beastie, let's get over. I think the running backs this one, Montgomery and Swift. I think the rest of this game is probably going to go under owned. So thoughts here? Can pull here on things.
Yeah, absolutely. When I, looked at this game from a single game slate DFS perspective, not, the 3-game overall slate, but I've broken this entire day down Thursday game by game. And when it comes to the Chicago at Detroit here, the over-unders at 41.5, by far and away the lowest over-under of the slate here, no issue. But to me, to attack this game, I'm looking at the running backs and the tight ends. When you look at some of the wide receivers, Mooney, 12 grand on FanDuel, single game slate, mind you. Allen Robinson, is he even active? If he is, I'd like to plug him in just based on a gut feeling. He's a local guy, Detroit versus everybody in his Twitter profile, and we go from there. But to me, it's all about DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery. And then if you're going to build on FanDuel or DraftKings or wherever you're at here, I love the idea of Cole Kmet in the MVP spot, then TJ Hawkinson at the flex spot, and then vice versa. You put TJ at MVP, Cole in the flex spot. Do the same thing with DeMont and Swift. And again, I'm painting a picture like I'm going to have a couple hundred different entries, and that's a fair assessment. I am going to have that. But one wild card to me is the rookie Khalil Herbert, only 8 grand on FanDuel, even $2,000 on DraftKings, looking at 8-9 carries, maybe 45 yards in this one. I would imagine that, Chicago, they're just going to be running the ball. In terms of the quarterbacks in this game, I want no part of any quarterbacks here. So that's why I'm painting a picture, as I said, of the running backs and the tight ends here. And then if you have a couple bucks left over, maybe sprinkle in Josh Reynolds or Marquise Goodwin for the Chicago Bears here. But overall, I have the final score in this one, 23-21. I think the Lions win, under a minute left. The clock is running. The fans are going nuts. They haven't won. It's Thanksgiving. As I said, this is our playoff game. And whoever the kicker is, who's our kicker? Eldrick Rosales, something like that. I think he hits a 30-40 yard field goal to send the fans home happy, and boom, we're off and running for the next game of the afternoon.
I love it. I wins this game as well. I like the over in this one. I don't mind the Lions. This Chicago team just, are they going to even play for Matt Nagy? I think they're going to be lacking the motivation trying to get rid of this guy. I love that call. Love the Lions here. Let's go to our next game. We got Dallas and this Raiders here, 7.5. On the spread for this one. So Beastie, we'll stay with you. Then a lot of people are going to be stacking up a lot of different ways. So how are you handling this one, Raiders and Cowboys?
Yeah, this one, it's pretty straightforward. I don't want to get cute. A single game slate or even like the bigger slate, as I've said, there's no reason to get cute on Thanksgiving unless you're in some sort of multi-entry contest here. But in a single game slate, there's just no way around Dak Prescott here. 16.5 on FanDuel, 11.2 on DraftKings as his flex price here. But to me, it kind of shifts towards Josh Jacobs and Zeke Elliott in the same lineup. You're looking at 25, maybe 30 total carries combined from the two running backs here, Kenyon Drake and Tony Pollard. They make for a nice little combo if you want to pivot away from Josh Jacobs and Ezekiel Elliott in some sort of big time GPP here. And when you look at the wide receivers here, obviously Amari Cooper still on the COVID list. He's not going to be active tomorrow. So then that, it kind of creates something here with Michael Gallup, who I believe his ownership percentage is going to be pushed up so high where there's no money to be made with Michael Gallup in your lineup. So in turn, I'm going to pivot to Cedric Wilson, $8,500 on FanDuel, only $5,400 on DraftKings. Personally speaking, 6-7 targets, maybe 4 or 5 receptions, 50 yards, somewhere around there. And then when you get to Darren Waller, I think he's back in the fold in terms of double-digit targets. He's laid some pretty, I don't want to say goose eggs, but people were expecting the world from Darren Waller after the first few weeks of the season, and he's kind of come back down to earth. I think he grabs the ball in this one, and he's back on the moon. So give me Darren Waller, 13K on FanDuel, 10-6 on DraftKings. And again, I have the Vegas Raiders to win this one in an upset late in the game, 27-24 here.
I like the Raiders here as well. Having a little bit of technical issues here, so we apologize for that. Something with the connection here on the video. So we'll keep pushing forward, and we'll see what happens here. But Scott, let's go to you. I'm with Beastie. I like the Raiders here. I think the public's going to be all over Dallas in this spot. I think you're going to see them stacked a million different ways here, and I think you can get unique. Maybe by using some of the pieces on the Raiders side that I don't disagree with Darren Waller, but maybe we go with a Brian Edwards coming off a bagel, or even a Josh Jacobs who hasn't been great. So trying to find ways to get different in this game. The other side, I really like Tony Pollard as a way to kind of get different. So there are some intriguing pieces here. Scott, what are you doing with this one? Raiders and Cowboys.
Yeah, I think this game here of the three is going to have garnered the most ownership as far as all kind of DFS action, especially for the 3 games. You know, I know Beastie was talking a little bit about showdowns as well, which is always fun to play on Thanksgiving. But yeah, I will have some 3-game lineups. I think, like you said, Waller is going to be really popular. Schultz is going to be popular. Both teams struggle against the tight end, but Dallas is really tough against running backs. The 7th fewest points to running backs. I don't think we're going to get much out of a Josh Jacobs and a Kenyon Drake. So if the Raiders have their way and they get out a little bit, I think you're going to force the Cowboys to play a little quicker pace and that they want to play. I think in this game they're going to try to want to run the ball, but as you mentioned with Tony Pollard, I really like that call here. Zeke hurt himself the last game against Kansas City late in that game, and now you got a short week. So I think Tony Pollard, we obviously know they trust him. They're going to use him here. I think he's going to get a little bit more carries than normal. So I definitely like Tony Pollard, and then Schultz is another guy that I really like too. But I think here in this game, you know, with these receivers that we're seeing, you know, out, especially, I think CeeDee Lamb is trending toward, it looks like he is going to play with the concussion issue. And if that's the case, I do like some CeeDee Lamb as well. But I do think this game definitely has the potential to be the highest scoring of the day. But I do think it's also going to garner the most ownership. Like I mentioned, Waller will be one of the highest owned guys on the slate. So Chris, I don't know. I think normally I don't like to go 2 tight end builds, but I think today may be a good thought here to even consider doing a 2 tight end build with Schultz and Waller.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Waller's going to be very popular for sure. So let's go to our nightcap, Buffalo and the Saints. Bills -6 here, Scott. We'll stay with you. Keep an eye on Kamara, Ingram, both questionable here for the Saints. So how are you handling the nightcap here, Scott? We loading up on Buffalo. Any low-owned pieces we're looking at here in this game?
Yeah, Josh Allen's really interesting. I mean, the guy just has such a high upside with, you know, just his full array of talent, running the ball and everything else. I mean, this is a revenge game for old Manny Sanders, too. He obviously spent last year with New Orleans, so I think that's interesting there. But I think Cole Beasley's in a really good spot. Dawson Knox is another guy you might be able to go to. He's pretty much earned that title of being a tight end 1. I mean, last week, he's playing all the snaps. He had 10 targets, 80 yards last week. Didn't get in the end zone, but definitely a guy you got to consider. Obviously, with Kamara being out, that's a big deal as well. I mean, we're going to see more Taysom Hill. That's the interesting question. But if Ingram, he was held out of practice too, so he's beat up a little bit. Do we get maybe a little Tony Jones? He's next up in the order there. So is Tony Jones a guy? But I'd lay caution to a guy like Traquan Smith. He's going to get Trey Davius White, who's the Buffalo corner. I generally like to stay away from him. And then we got Lattimore on the other side, who I think could get matched up against Manny Sanders, maybe get matched up against Diggs, but they do try to bounce Diggs around a little bit. So I think that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I do like the receivers here in this game a little bit too, that you could get low owned, especially, you know, like maybe Deontay Harris is an interesting play here today too. But Beasley is a guy that I like in this game.
Yeah, Jawan Johnson, another name, playing some tight end there. You mentioned Tony Jones, so there's a lot of intriguing pieces here. Beastie, I know you're famous for the bottom of the barrel. This seems to be the game where we can dig some pieces out. So who are you looking at in this one?
Absolutely. I want to preface all this by saying Buffalo going to New Orleans, it's going to be all bad for the Saints. You know, Buffalo got embarrassed by Indianapolis last week, and Jonathan Taylor, he had what, like 5, 6, 7 touchdowns here. I mean, Buffalo is going to be, angry. They're on the road on Thanksgiving. It's going to be pedal to the metal. I could see a case here where Buffalo gets up 21-0, 24-0 in the final score. It's going to make the game look a lot closer than it actually is. But I love Buffalo to just absolutely rout New Orleans at home on Thanksgiving. So to me, if you're looking around, I know Scott just mentioned Deontay Harris, $8,000 on FanDuel, 2,000 on DraftKings. But to me, it's in my chest here. Something is calling me to Gabriel Davis in this one. $7,000 on FanDuel, only $1,800 on DraftKings. This kid, he was the darling, like a sleeper darling, headed into the season in seasonal formats, and he hasn't done much. I mean, I know he's got a few touchdowns here, but this kid is averaging 17.7 yards a reception here. And you're looking at what, 3-4 targets, but I just have the sneaking suspicion where Buffalo gets out big. And one of those is due to a Gabriel Davis 60-70 yard touchdown. I know that's outlandish to say, but you can go anywhere for cookie cutter advice. You can go anywhere for cookie cutter broadcast. And, I feel it. So I'm going to say it out loud. I love Gabriel Davis anytime touchdown. I love Gabriel Davis in single game slates. I love him, stacking in the full, 3-game whopper here. So to me, Josh Allen, Diggs, Deontay Harris, Knox, and then you put a bow on it with Gabriel Davis in a single game slate here. Buffalo big, 31-14, 31-17, something along those lines.
Love it. It'll be a way to get different off Diggs as well. We don't really have any high-end receivers on this slate. So Davis, guys like that will make your stacks a little bit different from everyone else out there. So let's do a best bets for Thanksgiving here on this 3-game slate. And then we'll finish the show with any best bets we have in basketball tonight. So Beastie, let's stay with you. Best bets for Thanksgiving. Give the people some winners here. What do we got?
Yeah, I'm going to go, this is, since I'm going first, I'm probably able to steal what Scott's thinking because we're so in tune all the time. I know he's going to say, Lions. The Lions are getting points. I love that one. And I love the Vegas Raiders in Dallas. They're giving Vegas 7.5 points as it stands right now. Over-under is at 51. I can't get a real feel on that one. So I'm just going to go, Vegas plus 7.5 here, and I'm good to go. I love that. Obviously, I'll have a parlay with all 3 games. I'll have some single bets here, but I have a smattering of anytime touchdown stuffs, which basically I just laid out for you. Gabriel Davis, anytime touchdown, and Dawson Knox, anytime touchdown. But the one that I have the most money on is the Vegas Raiders, plus 7.5 on the road in Jerry World.
Love it. The public's going to be on Dallas, so I like that Raiders call. Scott, best bets for Thanksgiving. What do we got?
I got 3 of them. I'm going to stick with my boys here. The Detroit Lions at home in the first half getting the victory at plus 135. So I want the Lions to win the first half, plus 135. And then, Chris, I really like your Pollard call. So I'm going to go Pollard. Anytime touchdown is a plus 135 on FanDuel. And then in the last game, I'm going with the over in that Buffalo game. I like what Beastie was saying, too. I think Buffalo is going to put up some points. I think New Orleans is going to be able to throw up a couple points as well. So I think Buffalo will be in the high 30s. So I'm expecting maybe a couple touchdowns, lucky touchdowns out of our boys over there in New Orleans, and we'll get us over that line for us. But so 3 bets I got there for everybody on Turkey Day.
All right, I'm going to give 2. I like the over in this Detroit-Chicago game. I think the points scored in that game, so give me that. And I'm going to agree with the Raiders. If everyone's going to be on Dallas, the Raiders have been bad, but I'm going to take the 7.5 with the Vegas Raiders. So, guys, let's turn our attention back to the NBA tonight. Give the people a few winners here before we get out of here. Scott, we'll stay with you. That's for Wednesday night. What do you got?
In the NBA, I got the Washington going down to New Orleans. I like Washington giving 4 to New Orleans. I just like picking on these bad teams. New Orleans is one. So I'm going to stick with them. And then, Chris, I'm going to go with Miami traveling over to Minnesota. They're only giving them 1. I really like that. I think Miami's one of the best teams in the conference. So I think that's a pretty good buy.
All right, Beastie, best bets Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with what I said earlier. I love Golden State. They're minus 10.5 to Philadelphia. No Embiid. I think Golden State has their way with them. And the more I think about it, San Antonio at home against the Hawks, Trae Young, Clint Capella, they're a good team, but I love San Antonio at home plus 3.5 points in this one.
All right, I'm going to give you two, a couple home teams I'm liking tonight. I really like the Orlando Magic +7 against Charlotte, so give me that one. And I'm going to go with the Celtics to beat the Nets here tonight. Looks like you can still catch some points at a lot of spots, so we'll say Boston plunge. So I'm going to add them to my bets here as well. But guys, let's wrap up Thanksgiving Eve. We got football, we got basketball. Lots of stuff going on here in the sports world. So I just want to take a second, say happy Thanksgiving to both of you, your family, your friends, everybody out there for listening. We greatly appreciate it. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Please do it safely. If you're going to be out partying, having a good time, call a driver, do it smartly. But happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And of course, the boys behind the glass, not going to forget about you. We appreciate everything you guys do. Thankful for all the hard work you guys put in. So happy Thanksgiving to those guys as well, Spencer and Easy. Guys, final thoughts for the Wednesday night. Scott, what do you got?
Man, you said it perfectly there. I can't say it any better, my friend. Everybody stay safe. Have a good holiday with your friends, and we'll be back on Friday giving some more winners.
Yep, Friday we'll cover the NFL slate top to bottom for the games that are remaining. We'll obviously go through what we thing. Saturday will be our college football show, and then Sunday our live show on YouTube AM talking NFL. Beastie, final thoughts for the people here tonight. What you got?
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Be safe, like everybody said. And I just want to say, set healthy boundaries with your friends and family. You're going to be around these folks tonight and tomorrow. Old Uncle Joe's going to ask to borrow some cash. Just tell him, you know what, Uncle Joe, I don't have any money. That's the worst thing you can do. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you again next time soon.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. For Beastie, for Spencer and Easy behind the glass, I am Beer. We are Woodward Bets. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the food, enjoy the family, and we'll see you back here on Friday. Thank you for watching. We're out.